Hey, welcome. This is Marnie. You are joining me and our guest today, Layla Rule, for a program called Married in Ministry, Unique Blessings and Challenges for Married Leaders. We're going to be talking about the 4 daily routines that grow your impact as a ministry leader, 3 leadership hacks for married leaders, 3-step communication tool that heals generations and breaks curses off your family, and also 5 signs of a true godly man and how to stay united. When married Okay, when married women entrepreneurs go into business with their spouse, if at all, Layla Rule is a director of the Healing Hub. She's a heartfelt, goofy, and laser-focused speaker who helps women break free from emotional pain through scripture, musical therapy, transformational systems, and mindset training. You'll be inspired, encouraged, and delivered into hope, and you'll walk away with clear direction, able to make life-changing decisions without ever turning back. You can learn more about Layla over at her website, healinghubsc.com, and also invite her to speak via womensspeakers.com. I'm so excited to welcome you now. Welcome, Layla.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Great to have you. And this is such a wonderful topic. We've actually never done a topic like this. And so I'm excited. I've been married for, I'm going to say 43 years, I believe. So it's been a few minutes and
43. Did I hear that correctly?
43.
43.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
and I've been just really blessed to have a husband who's really walked with me through these years of ministry. And it's not always been, easy. Definitely, like when he would go to work somewhere else, I didn't go to work with him.
Right.
And he's been alongside me, but he doesn't come on here with me when I'm doing interviews, So as you're married and doing ministry, some of you literally do everything together with your spouses. Some of you don't. We're going to be talking through a lot of that today. Layla, maybe just really quickly, why did you want to talk about this topic?
Ooh. Just real quick, being married is very different. Something I'm really passionate about, and why and how that can affect us as women, and the complexities around just being a woman, but that there's a lot of benefits to having a counterpart that is unique from God.
Yes.
And I just want to encourage people out there that are married or even that are curious about being married, that are called to leadership.
In ministry. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always like to say we could do more and different together as a team than we could have done apart. That's kind of the thing to just keep your focus on. You wanted to start us off with some daily routines. So launch us.
Okay. Is it okay to pray quick?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I just want to pray that God would bless every viewer, every listener, that you would have ears to hear what God wants you to hear, and have a pen and paper ready if you need to mark some things down that you might want to put into practice.
Yeah.
In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. The question, run it by me again, please.
It's the 4 daily routines that grow your impact as a ministry leader.
Ooh, okay. So number 1 is I'll share them in order, and then I'll kind of fill in a little bit more around each one.
Sounds good.
So number 1 is faith. Number 2 is food. Number 3 is preparation. And number 4 is practice. Okay. So as far as daily routines, prayer in quiet time separated, even if it's 10 focused minutes before the sun comes up in solitude, is a gift.
Yeah.
And it is an anchor point. And inside of that is to ask God, what is one thing that he has on his heart for us, for me, for you, for today? And number 2 is food. It might sound kind of funny, but it really regulates almost anything that we're going to do. So food, meaning breakfast, lunch, dinner, planning those, taking 5 minutes a day to write down, what are my next 3 meals? For me, I do lunch, dinner, and then breakfast for the next day. So it's simplified. I don't have to have any other food thoughts. And
Mm-hmm.
that can also bless my spouse, my children, when that's organized.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
All right. And then are you ready for the next two?
I am. Go
I don't
for
want to
it.
like fire hose you, but this
No, go ahead. No, keep. You got
love.
so much good stuff to share. Just keep
Okay.
on going.
Okay. So preparation. Now, it's one thing to plan, it's a different thing to prepare and protect the food. So, but preparation, whether it's getting ready to do a speaking event or even just getting ready to try to be your best self for the day, um, the preparation of just thinking a couple steps ahead is super important for our own mental stability, even making sure that I take care of myself before I try to feed a plant or a pet or another person. So, kind of focusing on giving ourselves permission with some gentleness to take care of ourselves and effort to have a great day. Um, and then number 4 is practice. I think sometimes we underestimate what our husbands can bring to the table. So sometimes practice, I think if anybody is like me, where I can be a little bit self critical sometimes, when I just throw out an idea to my husband and say, hey, can I practice this with you? Then I can get feedback from him and it can actually improve and simplify what I thought I was going to present or what I thought I was going to do for the day. So just doing a run through with my husband, even if it's
I
just
love that.
how the day is going to play out with the kids, it simplifies things and it makes us more successful as a team. And I feel more grounded throughout the day as a mom and a leader.
I love that. It's so intentional. A couple things come right to mind. I remember for a while I was doing a newspaper column every week for families. And I come from a background, I was real sheltered. I mean, I just don't know crude language or any kind of things like that. And I would have my husband read over those before I submitted them. And he would often find something. He'd be like, you can't say that. You can't say it that way. Yeah. So, I think to just be aware of your own like blind spots.
Yeah.
I'll let them help come in, with it too. And I love the meal concepts are really important. It allows you to really enjoy them as well as to maximize the freedom that you have during the day. So let's go ahead forward to 3 leadership hacks for married leaders.
Okay. All right. These ones I'll kind of chunk out instead of giving them to you all at once.
Okay.
So number 1 is harmony. Staying in harmony and unity with my husband before wanting to make an impact or influence. So an example, like if you love music, right? I know you're gifted. Woo! If you've ever been to a concert and you can tell when one of the instruments is off key, we've all heard it. We've all heard the twang, or when something's just not harmonizing. Our relationships are like that. And so my husband and I, we try not to leave the house until we're in harmony and in unity. Or if we don't have time to process something, to carve out time, make an appointment later on. After you drop the kids off, can we carve out 5 or 10 minutes to get back in sync? Yeah. Because what happens if we don't, right? One of those challenges is things get buried or stuffed. And then that leaves room to get attacked in our heads or spin a story instead of how can I stay in harmony with my husband? Because he's going to relax, I'm going to relax, and we do better if we prioritize harmony, which the Bible talks about unity, staying in unity with each other, right?
I love that you're going to pause between, because this one, and I know we have to go faster after this, but this one is so fun. One day we were in church and I was hearing everybody around us, and Dave is a bass and I'm a alto.
Okay.
And so we have at time to times over the years sung duets together, but it's hard for us to find songs that work with an alto and a bass. And so but what I was noticing is the people right behind us were a soprano and a tenor. And I realized that that's actually the role that God has us in the world, Dave and I, we are the support harmonies that come in and support other people's sopranos.
I
And
love it.
isn't that fun?
Oh my gosh.
So when you said that, I was like, I love that so much.
Resonates.
So, yeah, right. Yeah, and it is so important that we're on the same page. And we will. I think in order to get through all of this, we have to go a little faster. But I hate it, and I love it all at the same time. So take us through the next two.
Okay. Number 2 is to bookend an event with prayer. So I think it's easy, and I've seen leaders do this, to pray before an event, but not bookend it after an event. So my husband, I will start to ask, hey, can we connect after? Like, we'll have a little debrief, but to also pray afterward, to begin and end, whether it's like a big meeting, you have to go to a presentation, to bookend it in prayer with your spouse, because it's powerful. He can dust things off of us. He can be used in his gifts uniquely, but also it can help like put wind in our sails before. Probably not telling you anything you don't know there, but I think just the visual of actually bookending an event or a meeting, that it's powerful to have those set in place, that the expectations there. So we're not just, I just gave and don't have that support bookending what we're doing.
And I feel like it could probably also, if you made that a habit, it could probably also minimize the number of times you have that huge crash after the event. I mean, I don't have those anymore, but I had them for years. I'd get home and God would show up big, and it was so amazing. And then you'd get home and it's just home, and it's like, oh man. But if your spouse is there with you afterwards and praying it through with you, I think that would be amazing. Yeah. Okay. What's your third one?
Okay. Well, even if he's not there, I'll schedule time.
Of course. Yes, of course. Yeah. Right.
Whatever. Okay. So third one is you first. Me first. And I know too often as a mom, as a giver, as a leader, that there's always the pull. Yeah. So before I leave the house, it is to check in with my own health, my own physical body. Did I prepare to rest enough? Do I have some cushion, right? Just like we talked about the end of something, to build in some self-care, a healthy meal that's prepared ahead of time. And to really just have power in the pause of 10 seconds before I leave the house. Hey, God, is there anything else that I need to be well? Have I set myself up? Have I prioritized my mental, physical, spiritual, emotional health before I try to give to anybody else? So permission to anybody that might need a reminder that we can't give what we don't have.
My mother-in-law is living with us right now for a while. She's 100 years old, and her favorite thing is JOY, which from her generation was Jesus, others, and you. But what I have really discovered is, if you look at what Jesus commanded us, he said 9 times the word you in the greatest commandment. You love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and you love your neighbor as yourself. That's 9 times he used the word you. If you prioritize others over yourself, you can't give. You run out of gas, you crash and burn, and you take people with you. So absolutely prioritize your own self-care. That has to happen first, and then you have everything to give, which is so cool. Yes. You want to share with us a 3-step communication tool that heals generations and breaks curses off our family. Let's do that next.
All right. Well, we could use 3 days to do this, but I'm going to tell it to you in brief. All right. Number 1 is mirroring. Just simply saying back to what your spouse, it could even be a child, it could be your mother-in-law who's living with you. So we're going to mirror. Number 2 is to validate where people are coming from. So sorry.
That's okay. It happens.
Oh, my apologies.
No worries.
And then number 3 is to empathize. So when we are, I mean, it sounds simple, but this tool can really break the power of anything when we're really hearing someone like a few levels deep. So when I mirror back what somebody is saying to me, or I give them a space to be heard and I validate their perspective, not just what I think they're saying, but I really hear where they're coming from. Even if I don't agree with them, it gives them power to feel known and really acknowledged, even if they're
Yeah.
different than us. Um, and then to empathize, choose an emotion that can really drive home the fact that their being, like who God made them to be, is really being validated and heard
Yeah.
before I try to respond, before I try to give, before I try to share my own 2 cents. That this one tool, if we can really listen long enough to understand someone, it can take us to the root of where we were wounded. It can take
Mm.
us to the origin so that we can actually help people heal more deeply inside of just a simple conversation.
Give it to us again in 1, 2, 3.
Okay. One is mirror
Mirror.
when we're listening,
Yeah.
mirror back what we're hearing, validate where they're coming from
Yeah.
with statements like, that makes sense. I understand. And then number 3 is empathize. So mirror, validate, and empathize.
I love
The
that.
emotion word.
Yeah. One of the things that I think happens is that life is going fast. And if we don't pause to actually acknowledge that there is trouble under there, we just keep on bandaging it and going forward. But that really just allows it to fester and to grow under there. And I love the analogy of the gold being heated up and then the dross coming to the surface. When that happens in our lives, when we get heated up and we experience negative communication or whatever it is, we can stir that back in for another day, or we can just pause long enough to take it off the top and it's really gone. Some of it's so deeply ingrained, you guys, over the years, like generational stuff, that it can take several approaches at it, faithfully taking that skim off the top whenever it comes to get to the bottom of it. But it's so worth it. And I think especially in marriages, that is one of the key things to prioritize, is the long-term health of both parties, spiritually, emotionally, relationally, in every way. Yeah.
And Proverbs 23:7 kind of came up, as a man thinks in his
Yeah,
heart,
that's
so
it.
is he, that our thoughts become things.
Mhm.
And if we bury them too long,
Yeah.
they can fester into something they were never meant to do inside of us. And that's why this
Yeah.
tool is so healing, so that we can direct our thoughts on the things that are true.
And I love that you start with, you start with mirroring and then you come back around to empathy, in the end, that, it's not us sitting and throwing arrows at somebody who's trapped in a thought process. It's the coming alongside and saying, let's shine the light of truth on that in a loving, protective, safe place.
If my husband was here, he would tell you there's 3 don'ts that we put in front.
Let's hear those
Can I
real
share
quick.
those real quick?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
It's no blame, no shame, no
Yeah.
criticism.
Yeah.
No blame, no shame, no
Yeah.
criticism.
Right.
Because it can devour those you statements, you. And it's I felt, I heard,
Mhm.
I interpreted when that happened. This is what I was going through. So no shame, no blame, no criticism.
And I think all we have to do for that is just say, how would I want someone to approach me if I'm believing a lie that's just like flashing red lights in their face and I think it's completely true, because that's where it comes into us. It comes in as a lie that feels very real, and then we nurture it over the years and it grows in more reality for us, but other people can clearly see, oh, that's a little off there. Yeah, beautiful. All right, we're going to shift here just a moment for the 5 signs of a truly godly man and how to stay united when married and you're in ministry.
All right.
Maybe chunk them out again. Just throw them out and then let's go
Okay.
back and tackle a couple of them.
Number 1, he makes time to pray,
Mhm.
hear God, and talk to God.
Yeah. Mhm.
Number 2, he's humble and obedient. So he hears God and does what he says. Number 3, he's reliable. He keeps his word no matter what. Number 4 is he reciprocates. So there's balance. I give, he gives. I receive, he receives, reciprocates. And number 5, willing to learn and grow alongside each other. He's willing to learn and grow alongside me, you, us.
Yeah.
So makes
Let's
time to pray,
yeah.
humble and obedient, does what he says, he's reliable. Number 4 is he reciprocates, so there's balance. And number 5, willing to learn and grow alongside.
Let's do number 1 and 2 together. He's connecting with God frequently in a way that is meaningful, not just checking it off a checklist,
Right.
but actually having a relationship with God. And Layla, if there is only one thing that Christian men want in a wife, and that Christian women want in a husband, it is this, because there's just nothing that compares to that. I even have this thing where I'll often say to one of my kids, especially when they were teenagers, if they really wanted me to say yes to something, and I was like, no, that'd be like handing you a poisonous snake. I can't say yes to that, right? I would say this phrase. I would say, I need to say no to that. But if you want me to change my mind, talk to God about it, because he's got my ear. And I think in our marriages, it works as well. There are times when something is too sensitive or whatever to talk directly to the other person about it. We've already talked. It's just, one of those spaces. And then when you know that they are listening to God, boy, that is just invaluable.
Because cosmetic religion or religiosity, it's bankrupt without that true connection. Even if it's small or it looks different than my connection with God, making time for it is so important.
Let's stop there a second too. Your relationship with God is not going to look like his relationship with God.
Nope.
Yeah. You have to leave room for him to be able to do that walk. And don't try to teach him how to do it your way.
Nope. When I am being other than him, he says, I acknowledge your otherness. I appreciate your otherness. You got that out of a book, but it's so important to just acknowledge, like, oops, you're a man, I'm a woman. I have female brain, you have male brain. It's different.
As a leader, as a speaker or a writer, especially, you're communicating basically wisdom to people all the time. And sometimes that is not welcome in the marriage, especially if you've happened to say it before once or 20 times. And so one of the things to just be humble about is if they just interrupt and say, I've heard this. I mean, this just happened to us just within the last 2 weeks. Dave just said, yeah, I've heard that. I've heard you share that example. And so I didn't know that he had, and I just shared it, and he's like, okay, fine. And don't take it personally. He is not your primary teaching audience. He's actually over you as far as things like that go, right? Okay, we're kind of equals for sure. But if there's a leader, it's going to be him. In any kind of a discussion that has a leader, it's him. And then we come alongside, bringing our full self into that, but allow him to have space to be the leader in the marriage. And you don't want to take that away from him. It's a gift that God's given him and a responsibility.
It's such a joy to support that too, to have that liberty to be who God called them to be. As our original design as support, right? When I get to support, like going back to the food, and I know something as simple as that is intact to help my spouse thrive in his day, it brings order to so many other things.
I mean, this is always an important conversation for every woman, but I think for leaders, you guys, when you are a strong woman and you are a strong leader and you come into your marriage and you think you're going to whip him into shape like you do a subordinate or someone who reports to you, don't do that to him. He's not in that role in your life. And you have to really protect that marriage relationship really truly above the ministry. You have to say, I've had to make some hard choices in my life where it's been like, am I going to prioritize the marriage over blank?
Yeah.
And
We
I
talk
will,
about that very often.
no, you know what? And,
Yeah.
and,
So
and I
important.
tell you, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. And a lot of people will tell you, don't. You're missing opportunities. And I just say, if you can stand before God and say, I have done everything in my power to make this marriage work, to, to make this the priority, then go ahead and do that thing. But be careful. Be
Well,
very
that kind of
careful.
goes back to that unity and harmony
It
thing.
is.
If we're singing two different songs, it doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
People can tell,
Yeah.
when we're
Yeah.
not harmonious, it's like, oh, what's going
Yeah.
on over there,
Yeah. And I think too, I just want to talk about being very different from each other.
Yeah.
Dave and I are really opposites, to the point, I think it took about 20 years of our 40 some years to figure out that, if you were to put us in separate rooms and ask us 10 questions,
Yeah.
we would probably have exact opposite answers to 9 of the
Oh,
10.
polar.
So
Yeah.
opposite. And
Yeah.
it had nothing to do with us being defiant or
Sure.
controlling or
Yeah.
anything like that, just how we are.
Character and
And
how you speak
as we
to
were able
things.
to just say, okay, this is just the reality. We're
Mm.
not being difficult. You're
Mhm.
not being difficult. That's just who you are.
Right.
And then we were able to truly support each other in the true identities that we have in Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was
Ooh.
that number 3 one?
Number 3 is he's reliable. He keeps his word.
Mm.
Integrity. I mean, integrity is paramount with a Christian man.
And maybe we should say we need to be the woman that is exactly that back to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is number 4, which
That's
is
4, right. Let's
reciprocate.
go
But
there.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So
You
reliable.
know,
Pretty
and I
simple.
think, I've heard, it's a 50-50. It's never 50-50. It's 100-100.
100. It's gotta
Yeah,
be.
right. And even if you can only do 62 today or 21 or 0, be there. Just
Scary.
be okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. If he's a godly man, he'll come through for you sometime when you have 0 to give.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what was number 5?
Willing to learn and grow alongside you.
I love that. Yeah. How about you guys? I mean, we learn in such different ways, him and I.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a bullet point guy. I don't know about Dave,
That's
but
me. I'm
I
a little
love to
point.
read and absorb, but he is quick to implement.
Mhm.
So if I can chunk it down and
Mhm.
absorb and do audiobook and Kindle and absorb all this stuff and give him the bullet points and he understands them and confirms he gets it,
Yeah.
then we can implement, and he's
Yeah.
helpful in that implementation as
Mhm.
we learn and grow new understanding or new revelation, even
Yeah.
reading the Bible all the way through and say, well, what did you take away from this, or what stuck out to
There
you?
you go. That's
That
it.
we're both learning and growing, even though we picked up on different
Yeah.
chunks of that sermon or whatever it is that we're absorbing.
And I do feel like that's where the joy in the marriage comes from, is that I could have just memorized that chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll come along and he'll be like, but have you ever thought of verse 8 like this? And it's like, I did not even think of it like that at all, and that's where the joy in the relationship, whatever else is going on in the world, we have this God thing going on in the center of it. And there's always something to talk about there. There's always a home base there to move from, a foundation, a solid, rock solid foundation that doesn't shift. Layla, this has been so much fun. Thank you for coming and just chatting this out with me, with us. So grateful. And you guys totally want to learn more about her over at healinghubsc.com. She's also,
the spelling might have gotten switched a little bit. The I got turned around, but it's the
what
word
is it?
Healing Hub.
Oh, Healing Hub. Okay, yes. You guys know how to spell healing. Healing Hub.
Come check us out. Hang out with us.
Great. Yeah, and then of course you're available to speak as well at events via womenspeakers.com. So you guys just go check that out. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. It was fun to hang out.
Super fun. And you guys, thank you for being here. Love sharing these with you, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.
God
Bye-bye.
bless.